Hi, I have something to say today regarding this mentality of the people here in India. I'm visiting India at the moment regarding glyphosate. I mean, there seems to be a high amount of interest on what is happening in the West with regard to this glyphosate. What does Americans say? What is happening in EPA? What's happening in California? What's happening in Europe? And so on. There is an interest on, some questions that came my way, whether EU has reapproved glyphosate or not, and what's happening in France. There seems to be a lot of issues. The people don't want glyphosate, but the French senators or members of parliament seem to want glyphosate. The president does not want glyphosate, but the farmers want glyphosate. All this, it has reached a high level of visibility and reached the mainstream political dialogue, where the president is now promising in his election campaign promise that if he gets elected, he will remove glyphosate from France and so on. But my point is, France is doing whatever it is doing not because it is influencing India. They are not looking at India and making their policy. They are doing it on their own merit, on its own merit as they find it in their own country. Why doesn't India do the same? I mean, why are we so influenced on what the white man is doing out there, and then based on that form our opinion whether glyphosate should or should not be allowed? I mean, this is another kind of slavery. Forget France and forget Europe and forget USA and Canada. Find out whether it's good or not by yourself. Do some test yourself. It's not that difficult. I'm not saying one should not be aware of what's going on around, or one should keep their eyes and ears closed. No, I'm not saying that. But if you have to be aware of what's going on outside, why don't you start from nearby? I mean, right across your border, what's happening in Sri Lanka, they imposed a nationwide ban on glyphosate because people were dying from kidney failure. Allegedly, the tea garden workers were getting throat cancer. How much did it cost to send one or two guys across to Colombo in Sri Lanka and spend a month there to investigate all these things? I mean, India is a major tea producer. If Sri Lankan tea garden workers, those who are applying glyphosate on the ground, are allegedly getting throat cancer, why not go and see whether that's the same issue in India or not? Those tea garden workers are almost like bonded labor. Nobody wants to talk to them. Go and find out if they have cancer. If they have some amount of cancer, is it random across the population, or is it only restricted to those who handle glyphosate? I mean, how difficult it is. Basically, my point today is that Indians seem to be still shackled, almost enslaved by the white man's activity. I mean, India has been independent for more than 70 years. You have been a free nation for more than 2 generations. Act like it, for God's sake. All right, I'm done for today.